All right, happy Wednesday night, everybody. We call it What If Wednesday around Raiderland. We're going to find out what if Bob Knight never got hired as Texas Tech head coach. All of that, Tech real basketball right now in action tonight, about 7 o'clock against Wyoming, the entire state. They're going to send the entire state down. It's going to be amazing. All that college football playoff notes. Which three-loss team will edge out a second team for the Big 12 this year? The Big Ten and SEC Invitational, and then whatever else is on your mind tonight. Whatever you want to do. We're going to go long. We're going to go deep. We're going to go well. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. All right, hold on. I got to change up something here real quick. Let's do that. And then I don't know how this got screwed up. It's crazy. That's who we are. So there you go. All right, you guys get in early. You get in early often. You let the folks out there know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up, hearts, all that stuff. Anything you want to do tonight, you make it happen, and we're going to conversate with you as we go through this evening on the daily broadcast. It's not hard to do. Let's go in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com. You started your day on the site finding out, hey, it's What If Wednesday. What are we going to talk about? What if Bob Knight never gets hired as Texas Tech head basketball coach in 2001? What's different? And then it's an open week for Tech football, but if you want to do some football, we can do that. College football playoff, the rankings, that doesn't matter, right? It's the Big Ten SEC Invitational. So what do you want to do tonight? We got all sorts of different stuff out there. Again, this show is really your thoughts, your comments, your, whatever you want to do. I mean, I don't think I have food on the way. Maybe I do have food on the way. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're going to visit tonight. All right, let's get the comments going. And by the way, StreamYard, we love StreamYard. They do our third-party broadcast studio, and they were having problems with Facebook and Twitter, and they got it all worked out. So we know everybody who's talking to us now, just like Craig on Facebook, the talking box is on, even though 99% of the people have no idea what the OGs out there mean when we say the talking box is on. Hi, how you doing? How you doing? Trace, All-American high school football player. Yeah, maybe not. I'm just kidding, Trace. Dog's going to go bananas in about 4 minutes. All right, that's cool. I can't do anything about it. So we love alt history. I love alt history books. I love history. And I love the idea of alt history, that we take a turning point in history and we say, what if instead of this happened, this happened? And my man Robert C., about a month and a half ago or something, said, you ought to do that on a topic. I said, all right, we'll do it. And it's pretty cool, So we do the alt history thing. Tonight, the alt history is, it's the spring of 2001, and Gerald Myers and the Texas Tech presidency doesn't freak out and go after Bob Knight and fire James Dickey. If that doesn't happen, what happens next? You tell me, what do you think happens? How would things be different? Jan is listening to us at the United Supermarkets Arena. By the way, all communications brought to you by United Supermarkets and Market Street. Basketball is indeed back. They're against Wyoming. All of our broadcasts, in some form or fashion, brought to you by The Reserve, a culinary tavern on 103rd and Quaker in Lubbock, Texas. Great atmosphere, great menu, awesome cool drinks, cool brunch. And every time you go, if a game's on for Texas Tech, it's on TV and you can hear it. The audio's on. It's really pretty cool. The Shropshire Agency in Lubbock, independent, just like you. They bring you this broadcast. Hey, if maybe we talk about people, your family insurance, but you got business. Maybe you're on a church board or something like that. You need to call Jeff and the crew at Shropshire. Most likely no beard at Tech. I assume that is talking about the what if question. So let's get to it. So Bob Knight never gets hired at Texas Tech in 2001. Who do you hire, right? I'm going to run through real quick, as quickly as I can, the coaches who were hired in 2001. Because we say, well, if you don't hire him, who are you going to? You're going to fire James Dickey, man. The NCAA sanctions, and they suck, and we got a new arena. So who's getting hired? Who is getting hired in 2001? ACC, Wake Forest, Skip Prosser replaces Dave Odom, who left for South Carolina. American East, Jay Wright leaves Hofstra. That's right, Jay Wright. In 2001, you could have hired Jay Wright. He went to Villanova that year. New coach, St. Bonaventure, Jan van Bredekhoff. He applied for the job at Texas Tech when Dickey got it in 91, 92. I know this for a fact. Steve Lapis gets hired at UMass. Thad Matta gets hired. There's Xavier. Danny Nee at Duquesne. Danny Nee. Yeah. So hang with me here. I'm going through all the coaches. Texas Tech hires Bob Knight. James Dickey fired. Big East, Rutgers, Gary Waters hired. Lewis Orr replaces Tommy Amaker, who left for Michigan. Jay Wright takes over Villanova. Steve Lapis resigned. Michigan hires Tommy Amaker. Brian Ellerby fired in the Big Ten. And Wisconsin hires a guy named Bo Ryan. Welcome to the time portal. Leonard Perry, Idaho. CAA, you wouldn't want any of these guys. It doesn't matter. CUSA, Louisville hired Rick Pitino. Denny Crum retired. Rick Pitino, whatever happened to him? Bruce Pearl goes to Milwaukee in 2001. Mac? No. Mountain West, UNLV, Charlie Spoonhour. Why is it that UNLV and Tech every year hire coaches? Dave Odom, South Carolina. We talked about that. Buzz Peterson takes the job at Tennessee in the Sun Belt. Johnny Jones at North Texas. And I feel like I'm missing one. Whack in WCC. Yeah, Paul Westphal replaces Bredikoff. So all of that is to go through the coaching changes in 2001, none of which Texas Tech went after, because Texas Tech fired James Dickey with 100% laser on Bob Knight. For those who may or may not remember, that there was no search, there was no committee, there was Bob Knight, and that was it. So we say, what if it had been a normal play out? You get done in March, late March, they fired Dickey, and you start that search. What do you think happens? What would be different? So right there, Chris is saying no Chris Beard, because he's saying that if Chris Beard doesn't come in as a GA and then as an assistant coach with Bob Knight, that you don't get Chris Beard later on. If you don't get Chris Beard, there's no 2019, right? Right? Hired in 2000. Yeah, we talked about Tim, I had doubts Coach Dickey could turn around, although his last class was improved. I was probably on the fence at the time. I thought that Bob Knight hire was a bad hire. I disagreed with it for a lot of different reasons. And railed on it from the media room at Kansas City's Municipal Auditorium during the Big 12 tournament that year. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Could Dickey have turned it around? I think he could have. You know, I really do. With the new arena, I think he could have. Stephen, I wouldn't be able to string together multiple four-letter words if I hadn't had seats by Knight's bench. Dude could unload. If Bobby Knight isn't hired, then he doesn't break Dean Smith's win record. Coach Knight goes behind the desk at ESPN permanently. All right, so that's taking it away from the Tech deal to the Bob Knight tree, and that's fine. That's what we do in old history. So, yeah, if Tech doesn't offer him the life raft, that's most likely what happens. He sits out 2001, 2002. He emerges there as an analyst. And we saw him later on in life as an analyst, and he wasn't awful. He wasn't great, all right? He wasn't great. He wasn't awful. You had to have him with the right guys. But, yeah, he didn't get the record. If he stays out a year, I don't know who hires him. And he doesn't go to somewhere like Tech where he could win. And I don't know that he would have gone somewhere smaller. That's not a knock against Texas Tech. Please don't take it that way. Wish they had not let Dickey go. Class act. James was a good guy. I can tell stories for days about me and James. I hope he doesn't mind me calling him James now. But me and Coach Dickey, and he would call the Williams and Hyatt show in the break. Ryan, yeah. All of a sudden I sound like Gerald Myers. Ryan, you just don't know everything. I need to talk to you after. I'm like, all right, Coach, I get it. We'll talk. He was always fair. Always fair. Chris, I think you still try to make a splash hire in 2001 with the new arena. You try, but, who's out there? Who is that splash hire? I just went through the list of coaches that made changes. Who's the splash hire? Wasn't Hofstra a finalist? In my mind, he was. Hofstra. There were no finalists in 2001. They did no search. No search. Dickey was fired with the understanding that Bob was coming in. There was no search. Tech never looked anywhere else ever in 2001 for that coaching change. No change. No finalists, no nothing, no interviews. It was a kamikaze mission for Bob Knight, and they got him. They're in spring training with the Cardinals. Chris, don't get Coach Knight, then we would not have gotten Pat, which would have not been a bad thing. So that's the question is, none of that happens. Then what? Fill in the blank. Do a fill in the blank coach. Any coach other than Bob Knight, 2001. What do you think happens? Was Coach Dickey a good recruiter? He was a very good recruiter. He put multiple players into the NBA. He gave you some of the best basketball you've ever had in the 1990s. He was a hell of a recruiter, a great recruiter. In the final 3 years, 97, 99, 2000, you had the sanctions hanging over, some of which he was responsible for, many of which he was not. Scholarship reductions. He gambled. He took guys that he thought would be a quick fix because he knew he was on the ropes. And a lot of coaches do that. But as a recruiter, he was one of the best recruiters Texas Tech has ever had. Let's see. Bruce Pearl at Tech, intriguing. And Chris talking about, the coaching cycle, then Bruce Pearl up, everything else. I don't know that he would have been there. I went through the coaching cycle there just to show you who the names were in 2001 when that was going on. It could have been anybody. You could have gone and got Vince Evans for all I know. But if there's no Bob Knight at Texas Tech, what do you think would have happened? You had money and you had a great new arena. Hence, one of the reasons that they fired Dickey, that they were afraid they were going to squander the impact of United Supermarkets Arena, United Spirit Arena at the time. The big, not the bigger, but if there's no night, is there Chris Beard? So if there's no night, does Chris Beard end up being on the staff at Texas Tech with somebody else? Probably not. He probably stays within the Texas coaching lineage in some form or fashion. He has no connection to Texas Tech prior. That if there's no night at Tech, there's no guarantee. So if there's no night, is there 2019 all those years later, 18 years later? Is there 2019? Is there that national championship game run? And was that, if we say that was the only way to get there, was it worth it? Or would you have rolled the dice and said, we'll try somebody else. We got 18 years to figure it out. Right? Would you roll the dice on that if you were sitting there in 2001 and say, hey, we're gonna hire Bob Knight. He's not going to do that much. He's going to kind of solidify the program, but then you're going to have his son. It's going to be crap. And then for another 5 years after that, bad. Then we're going to get Tubby Smith. What? You mean Kentucky head coach Tubby Smith is going to coach here? Yeah, we're going to get Tubby Smith. And then he's going to leave, and we're going to hire Chris Beard. Who? Yeah, the guy who was the assistant coach under Knight. But don't worry about it. He's been at Angelo State and Arkansas State and Little Rock, and it's going to be okay. What? No, and we're going to hire him away from UNLV after 2 weeks. Huh? It's okay, because in like 3 years, he's going to take you to the national championship game against Virginia. All right, sign me up. Is that not the craziest lineage, really, when you get down to it? I mean, it's nuts. So Tech never hires Bob Knight. Do you get to 2019? You tell me. Is there a possibility they keep Dickey another year if they don't hire Knight? Yeah, absolutely 100%. Because you were kind of broke at the time as an athletic department. Not broke, but moderately barefoot and destitute. And Dickey still had a bit of a buyout, if I remember, which at the time, now it would be laughable. But at the time, it was like a legitimate deal. So I do think that he probably survives if David Smith, if Gerald Myers, if some of the people on the Board of Regents don't get infatuated with the idea of hiring Bob Knight. He probably lasts another year. And then Tech is going to hire the owner of the Cotton Kings. Yeah, exactly. There's one more weird what if on the alt history that Mark Adams, at the time, the owner of the Lubbock Cotton Kings, out of college basketball, not coaching for various and sundry reasons, that you're going to go, it's going to be okay. Because after the national championship title game appearance, we're going to hire the head coach or the general manager of the Cotton Kings. NCAA came down on the program at the worst possible time. The NCAA comes down on Texas Tech when they were coming down on multiple programs in 1996, 97. It involved a bunch of JUCOs and kind of pay for grades and all sort of crap. And Texas Tech did as good a job as they could at the time, falling on their sword. They probably did more than they should have. Say, yeah, well, okay. And they got hammered. Basketball got hammered. Football got hammered. All the sports got hammered. Today, it's laughable, you know. Trace Jay Wright gets hired instead. I don't know that you hired. Tech's not going to hire Jay Wright. He's coming out of a small school back east. He has no connection to this part of the world. They're not hiring Jay Wright. Jay Wright's going to go to Villanova. And I watch coaching searches, obviously up close and personal at the time. Guys like that weren't getting hired. Like I said, Jan van Bredekoff applied for the job. I saw his resume on the fax machine in the sports information office at Texas Tech when James Dickey was getting hired. Fascinating. Hold on, this guy's he was with the Lakers? His name's Jan. Well, doesn't matter. Sorry, I got something on my left eye contact. I'm trying to get it cleared up. You're not going to hire Jay Wright if you're Texas Tech. You're not going to do it in 1992, obviously, 91, 92, and you're not going to do it in 2001. Ain't going to happen. Jalapeno burger 46. I thought the talking box is that gadget Peter Frampton uses. Yeah, pretty good. Man, how much money did he make off Frampton Comes Alive in that whole, fuzz box, with the guitar and on the vocals? Shout out Peter Frampton, who could have been Texas Tech basketball head coach in 1971, but it didn't work out. All right, where are we going here? Are we caught up all of a sudden? Every now and then it happens. All right, your questions, your comments tonight. The What If Wednesday question. What if Bob Knight never gets hired as head coach at Texas Tech? What if? What do you think happens? How different is the program? All those things. You tell us. Men's basketball tipping off here in a few minutes. We'll talk about it more tomorrow. And I feel like I'm kind of putting off really having some thoughts on men's basketball, but until we get the entire lineup out there, all we can do is sit there and go, JT Toppin so far looking good. Guys that are coming back, looking good. Watch, see what they do tonight. Ain't no Eric Lechner, ain't no Finis Dembo rolling into town for Wyoming. If you get the reference, you are a college basketball fan, by the way. And then we really don't. Maybe we can do some more of this tomorrow. The TV network that you think does college football the best, right? The TV network that you think does and presents college football, because I heard somebody today, not reminiscing, but talking about, the CBS music, and I can't even do it right now. And you hear that and it starts and he was like, man, they're covering my team and my blood's pumping and I'm hearing the music and everything. I'm going, I can't believe my team's out there. It was an Indiana football fan. Shout out Wes Reynolds, VSIN. The Theo Ratliff ain't walking through that door. Well done. Well done, Chris. So maybe tomorrow, the TV network that does college football the best. And then the idea, the college football playoff, the rankings, it's the Big Ten and the SEC Invitational. You knew it was going to be this, right? People are reacting like they didn't know this was going to be it. That this is the deal. It's their show. It's Oregon. It's Ohio State. It's Texas at 3. It's Penn State at 4. Indiana, BYU, top 6. Oh, they'll get them out of there. Don't worry. Tennessee, 7. Notre Dame, 8. 9, Miami, and then 10, Alabama. 2-loss team. First 2 loss team, Alabama. Second 2-loss team, Ole Miss, SEC. Georgia, 2-loss team. Texas A&M, 2-loss team. Kansas State, 2-loss team. Hey, K-State, you ain't got a chance unless you win the somehow win the Big 12 championship, you ain't going to get in. Colorado, win the Big 12 championship, you ain't going to get in. You ain't going to get in. So when all this comes out, and you've got a 3-loss team out of the SEC or the Big 10 over a Big 12 team, by the way, that'll have 2 losses, maybe one, depending on what happens. And people are going to be mad. I'm like, why are you going to be mad? You know, you knew this is the deal. The Big 10 on CBS just feels weird. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, but it is what it is. So maybe we talk about that tomorrow. We'll get to 16 teams. They will create outrage with the teams left out. We'll get to 16 teams in the playoff for a year or two, and it's not going to hold. We're still going to the 64-72 mega NFL college football thing. Did not have time to get to Diego Pavia, the Vanderbilt quarterback suing the NCAA. It's exactly why we need a union of college football players and a CBA. What is that? What's CBA? Collectively bargain agreement, and get over this crap. All right, you guys are the best. We've enjoyed it. It's been fun tonight. Last questions, comments, thoughts, everything else, right? What do you got for me? Give me something good. Give me a good parting thought, good parting shot. Tomorrow, overrated, underrated, rated right Thursday. We'll have that for you on the website. It'll be good. I want you to do a couple of things tonight. And hey, the YouTube people are showing up huge. Everybody subscribe to YouTube who watches this. Even if you don't watch it on YouTube, just subscribe. Don't cost nothing. Then hit thumbs up on the broadcast and everything else. You can watch it on Facebook Live. Now, our YouTube people, hey, same thing. Go hit our Facebook page, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Subscribe to that. Follow. We put stuff on there, particularly a lot of great stuff for our sponsors that are on Facebook that may not be somewhere else, that I'll let you know what they're doing and everything else. All right. So go do that. Then tonight. All right. Sorry. The whole, anybody paying attention to the Mike Tyson deal? That goes to Phil Collins and that goes to, well, it doesn't matter. Anyhow, this Tyson Paul fight, right? Anybody paying attention to that? Why do I think Tyson is not just a dead man walking here? Office potluck, what do you bring? I would bring queso because I make great queso. It depends on, I need more information on exactly what we're doing potluck wise. Just a random general thing. Otherwise, I would bring spam burgers. Spam, 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 spammity, spam, spammity, spam. I would bring spam burgers, and I would tell people that this is beautiful, it's wonderful. And if they don't like it, they can get the hell out of the office. Or if you just really want to be popular, and this is the easy way to do it, and depending on the age of your office, you just walk in there. It's office potluck, right? You just walk in there and you got a jug of milk and a box of peanut butter Captain Crunch cereal, and you say, breakfast for lunch, breakfast for dinner. You love Captain Crunch. Here you go. And none of that crap milk, whole milk, vitamin D, because probably, Trace, a lot of the people around the office, they really need some vitamin D. They really need good whole milk. So that would be my, that would be my reference right there for you. Jug of milk, Captain Crunch, spam burgers, or queso. Thank you very much. We're here to help. All right. You guys are the best. Share this, please, though. If you can, put it on your Facebook page, Twitter, anything else. We archive everything we do at theraiderland.com. You can go back and you can check out all the stuff we do there at theraiderland.com. And I'll say again, even if you don't watch on YouTube, subscribe, don't cost nothing. Flip it around, Facebook, everything else. Y'all rock. You really do. I mean, some of y'all roll, but a lot of y'all rock. All right, I got to hit the button that says end stream. We did what we could tonight. We're coming back tomorrow. I mean, with a vengeance. What is that? What is that band? Nah. We'll see you then.